Okay, for this painting, we are going to do the background with the burnt sienna, like I had told you in a previous video. This is a Stranger Things collaboration, and I chose to do the girl in the program, which is on Netflix. And I have a picture here, and what I want to do, I'm going to start by doing the background here. This is still a little wet, so hopefully this will work out. I want to do the background, and I have this hair color that I think would be great. We're going to do sort of like a bokeh effect with this also. Oops, almost lost my camera there. Oh, my chair is getting into it. I'm sorry. Okay, so I have this red oxide. I'm going to be using this. I am going to be using burnt sienna. And I'm also going to use phthalo blue. And I'm going to see how this works. We're just going to try it and see what happens. This burnt sienna is going to, this red oxide, I'm going to put it in the center. And this almost kind of looks like the burnt sienna, burnt sienna. So I'm going to start out with a larger brush, a little bit of I think we'll use a bright, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, this was, yeah, 12. Number 12, bright. And I'm just going to put the red oxide in the center. We want this to glow around where I put her. And as you can see, the burnt sienna background is almost the same. So I'm just kind of like moving this out. And we're going to use some of our glazing liquid also, because I want to get this to move outward. That is, if I can open it. The golden glazing liquid gloss. I don't know if I'm going to be able to open that. I might not be able to. Well, no, we have a little issue. Well, I'll work on that after we get this center in. We'll work at that first. You always have plenty of water on hand to make sure that I go in different directions, just kind of like to get it out there. If you notice down here, I was testing my color because I put equal parts of the phthalo blue into the burnt sienna, and it kind of gave me like a nice deep bluish green color. We have that in. Now I'm going to go and try to open my gloss, so I will be right back. Alright, I got my liquid open. Now if you ever have a hard time getting things open, I usually run it under hot water, and that'll help to loosen it, especially acrylics. They just loosen up real easily, because you get drippage on the round part here where the cap goes. So sometimes a squeeze bottle is best. And need some more paper towel. Now I made that greenish mixture, which was equal parts of phthalo blue and the burnt sienna, and I'm just going to go around with some of the glazing liquid, just kind of like to do this effect. And I have several paintings on YouTube here that show this. So I'm gonna start up in here. I have some of the glazing liquid on, and actually I'd like to have this a little bit darker, darkish bluish brown. This might be too blue. I might not like this as much, but we're going to see how it goes. So we know that there's a lot of yellowish color into the, oops, there goes my hairdryer, in the burnt sienna. Put a little bit more. I would like to have this more of a brown shade. So I also pulled out some Van Dyke Brown. I'm going to try that. And I also am going to try maybe some Alizarian Crimson in here. We're going to work at it and see when we can come up with a good shade. Maybe not using that one. I'm having a little issue with that, so I want to stop. Well, I'm going to put some Alizarian Crimson in here. I think that might actually help to get that tone down. Let's see if that works. Give it a little reddish shade. There we go. That's better. That will help to dull it a little bit more. There we go. So if you remember how I showed you, we're going to do a little bit at a time. I'm going to grab a little bit of my glazing liquid and some of my red oxide and kind of blend these. I want to blend them out together. Then I'm going to get my soft brush and blend it with that. Before it dries. I have this nice soft brush. It's kind of big, but you're just going to go pulling it to the side. Wipe it off. And probably, I'm going to set that in my water. I'm going to go back here. I want to get more of that in here. This is sort of like a dark painting. Grab some of my glazing liquid here so I can glit this in here very nicely. It is a darker painting. I don't know if you've ever watched Stranger Things, but you should try watching that. It's pretty good. It's a good program. Netflix has quite a few interesting things on their station. More of the glazing liquid just to glaze it in there. And I'm going to pull some of that glazing liquid into my red oxide and get this to come out a little bit. Now I'm going to get that brush that I was using to blend, dry it off pretty good. And just kind of bring these all out again. Just lightly, you're going over it. You don't want to do it too hard. You just want to kind of smooth it a bit. Wiping it off. Keep wiping it off. Look at how nice that's blending. Oh, this is great. I'm going to put more paint in the middle too because I think it needs more. Bring it this way. So put that back in there. Get more of the side here. One of the nice things about acrylic, if you always remember, I'm going to rinse out my brush here. Once it dries, if you don't like the way the background looks, you can always change it. I'm not quite sure if I like this yet, but if I don't, I can always change it. I want to get my glazing liquid, a little bit of that, pour it into my red oxide. I want this to go up high, this red, and over here a little bit more. Blend it out into that. And I'm going to get a little bit more mixture of my blue, phthalo blue, and my brown and alizarin crimson. It seems like I just did not have enough to do it the way I wanted it. Do that. Here we need a little bit more, and in here, let's get more of that in there. Okay, I'm going to get that brush and dry it. Make a flat one and kind of smooth this out. Actually, I would like to get a little bit more of the red oxide in here. I want that to be lighter. Okay, and in the center here. Now we're going to let this dry. After I blend it, we'll let this dry, and then we'll come back and start working on the girl. It's kind of bluish down here, and I like that. Okay, let me smooth this out a bit. Use this brush, see if this one will work better. I'm kind of like not happy with the way this is blending today. It might be a little hot in my studio. So we'll blend it with this little chip brush. Wipe it off, blend it. I got a lot of lights on so that you can see what I'm doing here. So want a nice smoothness to this. All smoothed out. Now normally what I do is once I've painted like this, I'll take a look at it once it dries and see what I need to do. If I need to make it any better. But I kind of like the way it is right now. blended very nicely this time. I like the way it blended. It very much was softer. A nice soft look, which I want. Right back here, I think we need a little bit more paint. Right in here. It's kind of pulling off. Well, that gave me a little bit more of the red. Cool. Yeah, it wants to pull off, so maybe I should just let that dry a little bit and then I'll come back. Let me get this one here. Yeah, sometimes that happens, it pulls off. It's pigments in the paint. If they're not something that's happens with some of the paints, like the basics, and they just like to pull off. They're not as good as the gold, and I'm starting to replace my paints with the golden shades, so that looks nice here. A burst of shade here. Get that to blend in there also. Okay. Okay, we'll fix that. I don't like what's happening. I'm just using a bristle brush. There's nothing particular about this. It's a number 12. And I want to get something soft, so I'm going to use this fan brush. Sometimes those are nice to blend with too. There we go. Okay, let's just get this blended out a little bit more. Okay. Very lightly. Very lightly. Very lightly. Trying not to pull any of the paint off. Okay. Sometimes you can actually use your fingers too. It's, see this here, right here in this section, I don't know what's going on with that, but let's see if I can get that to stick. Sometimes the canvases themselves have issues, unfortunately. Let's see if I can blend it here with this. If I don't like it, like I said, once this dries, I can come back and put more on. Okay, for now, we will see you in a short amount of time and get back to this and finish it. Okay, so I'm back in the studio while I was waiting for this to dry. And I think I want this a little darker, so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just kind of making it a little darker. It needs to be kind of this way, dark. And I added more blue into the brown. And I'm also doing my top and sides. You know, I like to do those. So if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll see that that's one of my sticklers, I call it. It just makes the painting a lot neater. So we want to get those sides, top, and we'll get the bottom once this all dries up. Oops. And I'm still using that number 12 bright. And I want to get some more of my glazing liquid out. See how it didn't cover too well in these areas, and I want to get those covered. So, oops, too much glazing liquid all on my palette. And I cannot show you this yet. Hopefully I am going to get this right one of these days and it'll all show up right. But right now my video equipment is kind of limited, so I just got a brand new camera, which I'm filming this with today, and hopefully this will work better than my camera that I was using before. So I'm just going to get this middle part, and then I'm going to use some of the glazing liquid to bring it out. But I don't want any of that blue in there, so I'm going to get rid of that brush. I'm going to use a number, I think this is a number 12 also, bright. Another one that I have, so I'm going to use that one. Try to get this covered here. Speed this up maybe up. Okay, so this is completely dried, and as you can see, I'm going to move this a little forward if I can, so you can get a closer look. I've traced the image on, and I used the white graphite paper for that. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to work with a little bit of this one here. This is a turquoise deep. And I made a little stencil with a circle, and I have a pouncing brush, and I'm going to put some of the bokeh effect around here with the turquoise. So I'm just going to grab my turquoise and put it on my brush just a little bit, if you can see that. And let's go back a little bit now. Let's see. Get back here. And a little bit of my glazing liquid, and I'm just going to start putting some of these little circles through here in the dark. And you know, it's not going to show up to be too dark. Okay, you want to make sure you don't get too much on there, and but it'll be like that it shows up, and you just want some of this effect to be on here. Not sure why that's going through like that. Maybe I have too much glazing liquid. Let me get some more. Okay, so we're just going to pounce these in. Pounce them around here and there. Now some of this effect is also going to be in her hair. So I'm going to pounce some around this to double it up, so I can get some of that out of there. Okay. And into her clothing as well. But I'm starting out with just the darker circles for now, and then once we start to work on her, we are going to get some of the brighter ones in, because it's actually some lights that are behind her. They're not really, they're kind of blurry, and that's the effect I want to get with that too. So I guess I need a little bit more paint. And I just used a cutter, a circle cutter for this. and I can show you that, and I'll have it in my information on the bottom where you can purchase it. Now I noticed that the Fisker scissor puncher is not working quite well, so I got another brand and it seems to be working fine. Not sure what's going on with the Fisker, but it just will not pounce or cut through this type of board. It's just a, you know, what do they call that? Oh boy, I can't think of it by right now, but I guess because it bothers me a little bit that it doesn't work, and it's just a thin cardboard. It's like a cardstock, and it should go through. It's poster board, just poster board, plain old poster board. So not sure why it's not working, why it happens to be not doing that, but I just love this effect. It just it always just makes the painting so much cooler to me. Okay, so we'll put some up here, and now I'm gonna rinse that brush out, and I'm gonna get some yellow, some of the background color here that I have. I'm wiping my stencil off because I want to make sure that doesn't get in there. Some of that red oxide, and I've got some Naples yellow, so I'm going to try that with this also and see how this works. With some of the oxide, just a little bit of the oxide in there, making sure my brush is clean. Don't want any of that blue in there, it'll make it green. So let's see here. Grab a little bit of my oxide, red oxide, mix it in with the yellow, and get a kind of a nice yellowish red. Let's see how this works. Maybe it could be a little darker, a little bit darker. Some of that blue in there. Kind of want this to be a little bit more transparent. I don't like the idea that it's so bright. Let me see if I can get that a little bit more transparent. Might be a little bit, yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. So one of the things you can do right away is wipe it off. Wipe it off. Just push it through. Wipe it off. I think maybe just going a little bit yellow instead might be better. So I'm washing that off. I want to get more of this to be dark, but I don't want to go in there right now because I like the way this is. So we're just going to start painting some of this. Get my brushes over here. So I want to get my brushes. I washed those out. Now they're nice and clean. So let's see here. I'm going to get some of my phthalo blue mixture and some of my turquoise. I'm going to mix those together. That was the part of this background here. And we're just going to go in here and get her. Basically, I'm just going to do the darks for now. Get her garment in. You want this to be relatively dark. This is quite a dark painting. The only thing that is going to be a little lighter, I'm going to have the blood that comes out of her nose, and some of her areas on her face are kind of light too. And I'm going to get those in. As you paint a person, with acrylic, you are going to put on many coats of very thin coats for the skin. So as I just want to block in her clothing. Then I can put some more of the bokeh in here also. And I am going into my glazing liquid also, just to help spread it around. It really needs some of that, because it's so hot, the paints dry so quickly. I'm just using a, golly, I don't know what size this is, but this is a number 10. It's an Artist synthetic fiber, and this is a flat. It's just a regular flat, and I want the softness. That's why I'm kind of using this one instead of the other bright. Get more dark here on the shoulders. And you might be able to hear some of the people cutting their grass today. I have the window open here in my studio. It's not hot enough for the air to be on. It's kind of nice and cool. So nice, that glazing liquid, because it just kind of makes that move so nicely. And I want that kind of glow to come through there. Her sides are darker, and the glow here is coming through is what I need. So that's very helpful. And you want that in your painting. This is just a little white here from the tracing paper, which definitely will go away. You can wipe it off with a wet cloth after you're finished here with the painting. Looking good, looking good. Okay, so the next dark part is up in her hair. So I'm going to get that in. Well, actually what I need to do, I'm going to go in with the light, this orange, and I'm going to actually put some white, titanium white in there. I think I have some out. I thought I put it out. Here it is. Just to lighten, there's certain areas on her skin that are quite light, and I want to get that. I want to get that in there. So I'm going to go into my red, oxide red, and kind of just make that lighter. I'm going to have a smaller brush. Let's see here. A smaller with And this here, oh, let's see, kind of like the filberts for this. So I have a number 4 filbert. I'm going to pull some of that white into my red oxide, a little bit of glazing liquid, and I want to have some of this lightness right in here. Now, because I want this to be a glaze, and that's what I'm working towards here, glazing this. It's a glaze of sorts. And her nose is quite light. And above her eyebrows, she's got some very lightness here, lots of lightness. Around her nose area it is darker, and I will be putting that in. Okay, so we're going to mix a little bit of this and put it into our blue mixture and get some more of the glazing liquid, because I want to get this dark in through here, a little bit darker. It has to be pretty dark, but yet it has to have some of that color into it, like this. You're kind of blending these together. This might be a little darker. I'm going to go into a little bit darker here. Okay, and a little bit of this. Going back into that red oxide, kind of coming in through here, blending these together. Getting a little bit more of that lighter. There's so much blending with this. But you put them in very small parts, and you just keep going over until you get the right shade that you need. I keep wiping off my brush as I go into my lighters. A little bit more light here. Very light up in here, very light piece right in through here, and right up in here. I may end up coming in there with some cad yellow, just depending. Okay, now her hair is very dark, so I'm going into my dark shade that I had mixed before with the browns and the alizarin and all those colors. Just bringing it on down here. And I'm brushing the way her hair is combed. It's very short, her hair. And I'm just kind of like bringing it onto her forehead here. Using my filbert, still using the filbert. Still using my filbert. And you kind of want these sides to blend in with this part also. Even though this is dark, it's not as really dark as this should be. This has to be kind of darkened through here. I'm going to grab some of my glazing liquid. So this will glaze a little bit better. Oops, that's just a little too much. So we'll have to fix that. And I'm going to go into my red oxide with some white and glazing liquid to thin it a little bit and just kind of come in through here with this. Okay. And I'm going to blend that a little with a soft brush here, just a soft brush. Blending it through. I took on something that's a bit hard, so you just have to bear with it, take it slow. Take it very slowly. There's that glow I'm looking for. Just a little bit through here. Get back into my red oxide. Just kind of blend this. You want to bring some of this up into the hairline so you're not getting a straight line like here. You want to blend that. You got to bring some of that into that. Grab a little bit more here. And some of that glow is coming through actually in the hair, but I want this to be a lot darker. It needs to be much darker. Oh, it looks pretty good. Okay. Now I'm going to thin out quite a bit of my dark shade here. I want that to be very thin, and I'm just gonna go in here just a little bit with that because it is a shadow here. There's a shadow. Get a little bit more of my yellow. Naples yellow. Some of my glazing liquid. And I'm going to keep coming in here until I get the thick, you know, the thickness that I want from this. We're going to highlight some of this also. This here area is light. I'm just going to blend some of this now, just lightly, so we don't see any of those marks from the brush. Just blend it. Okay. Now this ear is very dark, so I'm going to make that very dark. And the side of her face is very dark also. So we're going to make this pretty dark. Okay. And it comes down through here quite a bit. Even goes up into her eye area. So these are some of the hardest areas to master. So it might take me a while to get this in here, but once it's in, you'll be so surprised at how neat that looks. Now I'm going to get some of that Naples yellow, and I'm going to add some of my glazing liquid, because right here, there's sort of like a triangle effect here, and there is some dark in here, but I do definitely want that to be light, and I do want these to be lighter too, so I'm going to put some more in here. See how that's starting to kind of shape up now. It's light here too. So I'm just going to blend it in again with my blending brush, my light soft. I'm actually using a number 12 bright, but it's very soft. It's a very soft bright. And this area also has that, so I'm going to put that in there also. But there's more on this side of the painting than this side. This is the darker side over here. So I'm going to keep it nice and dark. Under the eyes kind of dark, but I'm going to kind of glaze that. Same in here, darker. So I'm going to just kind of start to blend this now, just blending it. Then I'll add some more light. And over here also I'm going to kind of get this a little darker just to be able to blend that a little bit more before it dries. Now it's just the first piece on here. It's not the, you know, it's going to be a lot lighter, but you have to blend these in order to make that work. Ooh, don't want to get that on our finger. Ooh, my fingers are pretty messed up. Okay, this has to be a little darker. one thing about the glazing liquid, which is nice, is it doesn't dry right away, so you can work, you have time to work with this, kind of get it to where you want it. I'm going to grab some of that Naples yellow. See if I can get this a little lighter now. Okay, it's turning green with the blue, so I'm going to hold off till this dries some. Now right in the neck area, we have some light here. So I'm just going to dab that in right now. And then, we're still using that dark shade. I'm going to put a little bit more of this. And I think that will do it. Now I'm going to grab some of my dark. We have to differentiate where her neck is as it being compared to the shirt that she's wearing. Like I said, these are just all, we're starting out with just the light here, and then we're going to go into the darks. It looks a little funny right now, but it'll be good. I'm gonna go over this a little bit more. You want that light to come through there, and I probably will do some more glazing, but her neck is definitely lighter than her shirt. And you want to make sure that that is the case right there, which it is. Now I got to get a little smaller brush. I'm going to get, let's see, I'm going to pick out my round brush. This is very dark in here, so I want to make sure that's very dark. This is just a little round, number 2, I believe it is. Yep, number 2. Just gonna make this nice and dark right here. That's part of her shirt. Okay. In here, it's darker. Just trying to lay in my darks right now. It's sometimes, a lot of times you go from light to dark, but in this instance I am going dark and adding my lights as I go. So I'm a little backwards for everybody, but that's just the way I do it. You know, everybody has their own technique and how they do things. I'm going to add some more of this. I want to get this really dark in through here, where it's almost you know, the hair kind of just moves into the shadows of this girl. Just bringing them through. Get a little bit more of that nice rinse out my brush. I'm going to get more of the oxide and white and some of the glazing liquid and just kind of go over that now. Right in through here a little bit. blend it. It's a process. It really is a process. But the nice thing about this is we're just using several colors. It's not like because she's in the dark, she has the darkness in this. So that's what's making this a little easier to deal with. If we were doing actual people and the skin tones and things like that, it would be a little bit more difficult. Just blend this out. Blend it. I'll put a little bit more of that oxide with the white and some of my glazing liquid on this. Just want to add it lightly. Blend it up into this. All right, very good. Okay, so I have my little cutout circle. It's a 1/2 inch circle, and what I'm going to do is make some of the light areas that are in here with some yellow, white, cad yellow. I have cad yellow medium actually. A little bit of my glazing liquid, and I am going to put a few of these lights in throughout here. So there's one here. And we don't want it too thick. This might be just a bit too thick for me. Kind of has to be almost see-through. That might be just too light, but let's see here. Okay. There's like a string of lights throughout here, and this is kind of what I'm looking to get or capture, that are lighter in through this area. That's okay if it goes over some of the other ones. I'd really like to get more of a glaze on here. Let's see if I can pull that up and kind of get more glaziness. I mean, there's quite a bit of these little, there we go, I like that better. Much better. These are going throughout the painting. They actually are a string of lights that are behind here. So I'm just making it like this effect, this bokeh effect. And I don't want that on there. And let's see if we can just get this like here. I don't know. If I put a little blue in that, and it'll be, not sure here. Let's see here. A little bit of these shades here. And get this off a bit. There's some that are close together. This. I'm gonna wipe my card off a bit because I don't. There's one that's here. It's a light. Now see, I've got it where I want it now. go through here. Kind of like that. Some of these then are connected, so we're going to just connect them. And I'll wash out my stippler brush. Now, also, it looks like there's like these little splatters, and I think I want to put those in too before I get too carried away here with her. I'm going to get some of those splatters. I'm going to take some of my brick and a little bit of my yellow. I'm going to splatter them like that. I can go over her clothing. I'm going to try not to get it on her face though, if I can help that. Splatters. There's like this halo that's around her that's very, very light. So I'm going to get my brick, and I think I'm going to use my number 12 bright right here. And I'm going into my brick and grab some of that yellow. Make it very light, and then grab some of my glazing liquid. I can get this to be what I'm looking for. I'm hoping that this is going to be a little bit lighter. Just getting around here. And what I might, well, I'm going to get a nice soft brush to go around here too. Kind of like a nice soft brush to blend it out. This one will work. Just blend that out. If you've ever watched Strange Things, or it's pretty good. It's an interesting program. So I'm just kind of doing just this lightness around her. Get some in through here also. Probably mostly dry brushing. I'm going to grab some more of my glazing liquid so I can smooth that out better. Blending it. I'll make this over a bit. You know, she's able to do things, but when she does these things, unfortunately, it affects her. And it's kind of weird. It's quite weird how it plays out. A bit more over here. Kind of halo around her head. I have quite a bit of the glazing liquid on here, so it's helping me to get this around just the way I want it. Okay, a little bit of a glaze highlighting around her hair and her head. Get some more of that. It's kind of like putting it around. Alrighty. And blending it so that it just blends into the background but highlights a little bit so that you can see it. Very neat, very cool. Little cool effect here. All right. So now I want to actually get her hair right there. So I'm going to use a flat number. Oh, no number on here. Well, this is a little bit of a flat. I don't know what size this is. It might be about a 4. Just want to do in her hair up here again. Okay. I'm going to put in her hand here where I lose it. And this is very dark and through here. And it's kind of dark in here also, like where her finger bends. And I'm going to smooth that in. Then it's like sort of we get the lighter shade, which is a highlight. I'm going to blend that out just a tad. Same here, blend it a little bit. Comes up in through here, like that. Kind of interesting how this all starts to shape up. And there's a little bit of a highlight, so I'm going to grab some of my yellow. There's like a highlight here, here. And there is some in here, but it's with a lot of blue. So I'm going to grab some of that blue. Oh, that's my phone, sorry. Just kind of lightly go over that just so that I know that that's highlighted. And it comes around, but yet it's still covered up with some paint. You know, you have to go very lightly when you're doing this detail work. And it's lots of layers, so I may be putting on more layers as I go. Right in here, this is like a dark shade also. Very dark right in here. Grab a little bit of my glazing liquid for this also, because we have, I should get some of this, we have this yellowish color, and I think what I'm going to do, I want to make this kind of light. I'm going to get my brick, I'm going to add a little white to it, kind of make it look like a skin tone. And maybe put it in here where these were, but I don't want a lot of paint on my brush. Don't want a lot of paint on my brush. It's kind of like I'm actually putting in highlights here right on top of what we just did. And then there's some in through here. Right here, it's very light. Very light. This is quite light here. Actually, we're going to make that a lot lighter. Huh. It gets light, but I'm just putting in little glazings of this. Lots of glazings. like a lot of darkness into that too. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of my dark blue. Place on top of this. And I'm gonna blend it out. Bring a soft brush here. Just softening this area here. Softer brush strokes. Pulling in that blue. Kind of going over the blue. And we'll be going over this quite a bit as we make our way through this. It's a lot of glazing. Portraits have a lot of glazing to it. You just keep adding little bits and bits until it gets that drama that you need. And it takes some time. It takes a little time. You have to be very patient. Very patient. So you may not hear me talking so much through some of this because I start to like concentrate so much. That's just part of my process. I, you know, try to get what I need in here. Now I'm mixing up some yellow, some brick, and white. I want white in here because there's certain areas on her face that are very light, and I'm picking up a little glazing liquid, and some of this will be here, and I'm going to just blend that with my finger. Just kind of blend it with my finger right above her eyebrows, and right over here it's a little light too. Now I already made these light, but as you can see I'm going back in because I want to get that highlighted in there. And right in here it's very, very light, very light. So I'm gonna get that each step. Comes down a little bit. And her eyebrows are quite dark. So we're just gonna get this part in, and then we're gonna go to her eyebrows. But I want to get some of this also because there's like a little bit of a triangle here that's quite light. So I'm going to put that in, blending it with my fingers. And I think there's a little bit right in here. It's also quite light. So you want to get that in there. All right. I'll put a little bit here on her ear. We're going to glaze over that also, but these certain areas have to be a little bit lighter. We're going to go over it with some of the blue, but I want to get this in here. Now, it's also kind of light in through here. So what I'm going to do is get my brick. And it's not going to be as light as that, I'm thinking. But it is light in through here. Okay, so I made it a little bit lighter than it should be. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some blue to this mixture that I have on my brush. just kind of like, it's going to be kind of muddy looking. Putting some glazing liquid, but all this in through here is quite light. Maybe that's just a little too light. Get this a little bit darker. Ooh. Just kind of blending it. Now this is where you really need some patience, because you know, you can't give up. You just can't give up. There's some lightness through here also. I'm gonna add that light just right in there, just to get my light area. Also in here, it's a little bit lighter. I gave myself some little marks so I knew how to be light. You know, it's so light in through here also, so I'm just going to give her that brick shade there. Just to start out with. Okay, now right by her nose it's dark on this here part. So I'm going to get some of that and some glazing liquid. Always make sure that you're using your glazing liquid when you come into these areas. Right in here. It's dark. It comes over. And I think what I'm going to be using instead is a filbert. My small filbert I think would be better. I'm going to get that and some of my glazing liquid again. As I come down right in through here, it's very dark, very dark. So I'm probably going to end up using quite a bit of dark through there. Okay, get a little bit more of my dark, some glazing liquid. Where my glazing liquid come out and through here. It's really, really dark in through here. My hair nose area, right up into, right to her nose, right there. And under the nose, under here, it's dark. There's something that comes around here. It's kind of dark. It comes down just like this, but it actually does get lighter. So I'm just gonna kind of go over that. Make some dark here because it has to be kind of dark around the area of her face. You know, like her jawline is pretty dark. Now, since I have that glazing liquid on my brush, I'm going back into the blue and I'm going to kind of go over this area. Some of that in it. See how nice that's starting to shape up there. Her ear, around her hairline is very dark. So I'm going to get to that blue again. And I'm just going to go into it and just put another layer of dark. You know, a lot of dark in here. Right in here also. Dark here. So in here, gonna be dark. And around her fingers here on her face, it's a shadow. So we want to get that dark. And we're just gonna kind of I'm leaving this open. I have to go over it a little bit with some of this blue. But I really want to get this darkness in here first. Grabbing some more of my blue with the glazing liquid. Some of this actually is lighter. Okay, now I'm going to try to just lightly go over this, glaze it, just lightly. And I'm going to get some of the light yellowish shade and fill it in. Rinse out my brush. Get that. That's not rinsed out enough. That color that I made here with the yellow and the brick and the glazing liquid, I'm just going to kind of go in here. Kind of tap it. Just tap it in. And I'm going to get it even darker, lighter than this. I'm just going to blend it with my finger here. Now I'm going to get it a little bit lighter. Just keep adding light a little bit more each time until I get her chin the way I want it. There we go. You can see that I am not using a ton of paint here. I'm building off of what I have already done. So it's a basic process of building up, building, building, building. You have to keep building it. Building it. Build it up. Now I'm going to get some more of that lighter shade and add it to my blue. Because in through here, that brick shows up quite a bit too. Now this is all light in through here, so we're going to just try to get this as light as we can. But yet, we have to remember that it is also a dark shade. Now, right on the tip of her nose, right here, very light, very light. And I'm probably going to need to get a little bit of a smaller brush for this. Let's see. This here part of her nose. Okay, we're going to add some of the lighter blue here because this is another part where we're going to start building up with her nose area. We want to keep it in line with the way her nose is, so we have to be very, very careful as we do this. I'm going to grab a little bit more glazing liquid so I can pull that up somewhat. I'm going to pull that up. Now, I'm going to go into the lighter shade of beige, or the color that I made for these areas here. Kind of go into that. Just give me some. That's a little dark, too light. We need it a little darker, a little bit darker. So I'm going to come down. I just kind of made her nose out of whack here, so I have to fix that. I'm going to add add some more blue to that. Just fix this part right here. Because her nose is interesting the way it's shaped. It's put a little bit more blue in through here. Okay. And something in here more. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up like this. Pull this up like this. Okay. Going just ruin my white shade here. Well, we can use that for over here. When it comes down here, okay. Don't need a lot. Just a little darker. You have to show these contrasts. Have to show them. Now we have a Cupid's bow, which we need to get in there also. This is going to be light for now, but I'm going to make it darker. You just want to get it somewhat light so it's a little bit of a note that I know I have to go light with that. Let's see here now. Some more of that brick. Get rid of that. The face part is the hardest. It just is a lot of work. A lot of work. So I'm not sure if I'm going to speed this up or not. So I might be quiet here for a little bit, just so that if I do decide to speed this up so you're not bored watching me doing all this over and over again. But that's just about how you have to do it. You kind of just have to work at it, work at it, work at it. You know, until you get the right, just the right amount of paint on here in order to make it pop and make it look real. You want it to make look, you know, you want it to be real looking, very realistic. And that's what I'm working on, trying to make this as very realistic as possible. Much as I can. Let's see here, mix some yellow. Get you out of there. Want to mix more yellow and my yellow. I'm gonna mix yellow. And mix the brick. Some white. This is going to be some of her, more of her facial pieces here. blending this again. More of that brown. I want more of the brick. I think it should be more brick-like through here. There we go. Blend it. Just blending it with a blending brush. Very soft brush. Very soft. So what I want to work on right now, I'm going to get her lips in. I want to work a little bit more on this hand, and still keep working on the face. I still have some work there to do. So let's see here. I want to get some highlights around her eyes. I'd like to get the eyes in because I need to get those in so I can see what's next. I'm going to take some of my blue mixture. And some white, because her eyes aren't quite white, they're like an off blue. And I'm going to use a very small brush. I'm going to use this number, I think this is a number 2. It's a round. See how I can get in there with this. And I'll probably end up doing this a little darker here. I'm not sure. I don't want to get in that. I want to be in the picture. Let's see. Move this up a little bit. I do not have any makeup on, so that makes it a little weird. These are the lighter areas in her eye. Now, it's kind of dark in her center there. I mean, off here. It's very dark. So I'm going to put that in also, this here part. Let's see if I can get that a little darker. Oops, I don't want to go down into that part. Okay. And there is this darkness that comes around here inside the eye. Just going to lightly do that. And around here, it's kind of dark. Okay. Same over here, it's very dark in this area right in here, so we want to make sure that's very dark. Let me blend that a little bit with some get that darkness in there. Now she's also got that darkness around this eye as well. Might not be good enough, and then kind of dark in there too. Now her eyes look very, very dark, so I'm hoping that this blue, I might need some more of that on my palette. Okay, there we go. So I'm using like turquoise deep for her, and I'm gonna put more on my palette. And I mixed a little bit of that brick with it, because I want to get it really dark. I have to get her eyes here. Well, this might be too big of a brush. Let me go back to my little round one. Excuse me. So I want to get those in here. Her eyes. And I'm using that background to help bring this in, which is very important. That background is very important. Now, this side here has a little bit more of that brick in it, so I'm going to put some of that in there, right in here. Just kind of go over it a little bit. There we go. And her underneath, it's kind of light. So I'm going to grab some of my yellow, rinse out my brush, grab some of my brick and some of my yellow, cad yellow, mix that together. And around her eye, this is going to be tricky. Hopefully I can get this with this brush. I might have to use a smaller one. Okay, just to get it around here. I want that light. I think I want a smaller brush. Let's see if I can find a smaller brush. Okay. Here we go. We'll use this one. This one is a number 2. It is a round. The differences in number 2s are amazing. Each one is so different. Manufacturers. Okay, it's really dark in there, so I want to keep that. It's kind of light up in here. It goes thin here. Through here. Okay. I've got to get some of that dark in there, so I'm gonna go with this round brush still and try to get this very close here. It is very, very close. And underneath her eye here too, a little bit. underneath. Darken through here. This is dark. This comes in here a little bit more. Like that in there, but I'm going to blend that now. Get that as blended as I can. Oops. Get that a little bit more. Put a little brick on my I still want that a little darker though. It has to get a little darker. Brick and yellow, that's what I'm mixing. Yeah, that doesn't look too good. I don't like that. Kind of green looking. So I might have to come back to this. That just doesn't look right. Just come back here with this brick. Smudge on my brush. Just gonna come over that a little bit, and then I'm gonna highlight that eventually. Get some of my blue. Right now I'm using a number, there's no, I think this is a number 4 filbert. Now what I'm going to do here, got our eye in pretty good, but I have to put some highlights in there, and I'm going to get this a little closer. This is pretty close to this eye here. Just take it slow. Just take it slow around here. Take it very, very slow. Now with that, I'm going to get a little white, mix that into my brick. See about this highlight right here. Still want to get that in there, so it has to be in here. Just work it slowly, just little strokes here. These are all like little layers, as I was telling you once before. Just have to do this very slow, very layered, all kinds of layers here. We're still going to lighten that up a bit. That has to be pretty light. Get some of that brick and some titanium white. Let's see if this helps to brighten that up a bit. Definitely more light right in through here. just work it in. Grabbing some more brick and bringing some of that. I want to get some more of this glazing liquid also, because this needs to be like a glaze on top here, so that it's not so, it's just like a light glaze goes on top here. Might have to a little bit more blue. Just get that like through there. And more of the brick. Get some more of that glazing liquid here. Don't want it very dark here. I mean, it's dark, but it's still got that bluish cast to it that comes all the way down here. It's lighter and then it gets darker. Much darker around here, so we can add the darkness in through here. Now, let's see if I can spread this out with a little bit of a like little brush here. I'm just trying to blend that a little bit better here. Picking up some more of my burnt brick or brick color. Okay, some more of my glazing liquid. Bringing that down in there. Just glazing it. This is quite light in through here, so excuse me. I'm having issues this morning again with my kind of gets light in through here a bit. Just tapping, putting light little, just light, lightening it up on that side. It's also light through here, so maybe add some lightness in here, just a little. Now, if you've ever watched this program, the little girl, she has some sort of power. Don't know what that is yet. I want to add a little highlights. Yeah, I gotta get some highlights in there. But she has this power, and when she uses it, for some reason, her nose starts to bleed. Just adding another glaze coat here. When she uses that power, like I said, her nose starts to bleed, and it's kind of interesting. The program's very interesting. It kind of leaves you like, what is going on here? You know? Let me get my little round brush here. And let's see here. Kind of want to bring some of this down a little bit more. Just blend it in. There we go. The hardest part is blending on this painting. Now, oh man, just want to get a little bit that comes down in through here. And it's very light here. This is part of her nose. And it's real light. It's just the way this is shining here. Right in here. Use some dark. Like dark. Okay. Very dark in here. Very dark. Very quiet. I'm very quiet when I'm concentrating on little details. Now this is a little bit more advanced for people that are painting with me. So if you've been painting for a while, this would be a good painting for you. But if you're just starting, I wouldn't attempt this because it's a little hard, very hard. This here part that's running down her nose, I'm going to put that in. It's going to be red. It's going to be a dark red. I'm going to mix, I got quinacridone red. I'm going to mix that with some blue. But you just kind of want to have that like it's a red cast that's coming out there. So we know that is her blood. Her blood that's coming out of her nose. Which happens, like I said, when she does this, whatever she's doing. Very light in through here too, so I'm going to get some of that lightness in there. Okay. Now let's see here. I want to get some highlight in there, and I'm just going to use that mixture of white and brick because I don't want it. There's like a little highlight here. There's one close to her eye. There's one here. Okay, and one here. Okay, that's part of her eye. Now, this here also is highlighted. Kind of just helps you a little bit when you start to do those things. Now, I gotta work on that eye there. Right in here. This needs to be just a little wider and a little lighter. So I'm gonna go into my, I'm gonna get some brick, add some white. Actually, I need a little bit more white than that. Now on this side here, like I said, it's a lot lighter. I don't know if this is gonna work. This might be too light. Let's see here. This is like really light in here. Maybe like that. And this is darker over here, so I'm going to add a little bit of my glazing liquid to kind of just glaze over this a little bit. And this here has to be pretty dark over here. You can almost not see where the eyes touching. But I do want to get this here a little bit. It's going to be pretty big here. Okay. Get a little bit of blue now. Kind of like do this colored in here. You almost can't see where the eye ends and where the shadow is, so. It's pretty darn dark. On this side. Now I want to get like a more highlights in this, right down to this her nose here. So this is pretty dark in there. Let me get that a little bit better. This kind of really comes around a little bit more round. This is dark, very dark. There's hardly just a little bit of nose showing there. And this comes up so just lightly like. Okay. Alright. I want to get her lip in. There's some sort of a creature thing here. I don't know what that is. I'll have to look at that a little bit. Okay, what I want to do, I want to get her hand here too. Like right here, she's got like a highlight right in here. And this is just getting it put in. Little notes that I know that this is highlighting through here. There's some highlight right there. Okay. Right here, it comes down like that. There's a highlight right here, right here. And these are just little notes for me that I know I have to make that lighter. I wished I knew what she was holding. It looks like a little toy of some sort. Okay. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is the lips. Now her upper lip is very dark, so I'm just going to put that in right now. Upper lip. I'm using that filbert. Filbert. Now, this little whatever this is, I'm going to put that in. It's just a little hat up here. Little hat. Don't know what this is. Actually, like this. I don't think it's that close to her paste those. So let me just get this out here. Just kind of a little bit of highlights through here. Get some of the blue again. Just keep highlighting, and actually you don't really see too much of this, but because of that little thing that's covering it, but you still have to get that a little lighter. And it comes through here like a little bit. Grabbing my filbert here, just kind of like rubbing it in there, using my finger. Sometimes you have to use your fingers. All right, let's see if I can paint this little character in here. So it looks like we've got a light greenish color here. I'm gonna get some of my deep turquoise, add a little yellow, cad yellow, kind of make it like a turquoisey shade. But it still has to be dark. It's like so dark here, and just not sure what this is right here. So, and it comes right into her lip here, which is right over to this. So whatever she's holding on to. And then the top part of this is all dark. There's like darkness in there also. So we gotta make that nice and dark. And I'm just grabbing my deep turquoise here for this. Just kind of going over this some more. Comes down like that. Just kind of going over all that. And I'll probably have to put another coat of the deep turquoise on here. This all has to be very deep, very dark here. Then this little thing that comes down like that. And something very light in there. Let me wash out my brush. Wash out my brush. Make this deeper. Deep, deep, deep. It's actually darker than her skin shading. So we really got to pile that on there. Dark in here. Some of her lip is showing through this. Just gonna go over here. Just get her lip partially in. Just making little gestures here with this. Kind of light in through there. I got to get that in there. There's a lot. You have to see all these little details that just happen. Now, I'm still needing a little bit more up on that nose too as I look at it. Just a tad here on her nose up. On here a little bit. Not too dark though, doesn't want to be. But under here it's very, very dark. under the nose. So we want to make sure, but her nose is round. It's very round. So we just want to get that in there. And where this blood is coming out. It's kind of light there, okay. A little bit of light here. Gotta get some light in there. Get a little light. Bit of the yellow in here. Gotta get her light in here. Kind of light in here. Light in here. This thing has this little. A little bit more of a brick, some yellow, that's the cad yellow medium, some white. Oh, I just made that a little too light, but I think we need that. I think we need it in here, right in here. There's some highlight in here. Blend that a little. Definitely pretty light up in here. Up above her eyebrow here. Very light. And I'm using my finger just because sometimes it's easy to do that. It's just makes life a little easier. Using the fingers, use everything. I'm trying to get that. Now, right here, this might be a little too dark, but right in here, some of this comes out like so I'm going to just go over him a little bit more. He does have a little arm, so I am making, pretty sure that this is some sort of a little toy that she's holding. And I'm going to just blend that. Actually, it's not brick. It's, I keep calling it brick, but it's red oxide. So I'm going to mix my red oxide with a little white. And I'd love to show you my palette, but boy, what a mess it is. And a little bit of the yellow, just a tad of my cad yellow. Just give him a little bit here. And he has a little arm right here. Now, I'm using just a little flat brush. It's just, it's a Royal brush, and I cannot make it. I think it's size 1, it's a flat. So now I'm going to work on her hands. I pretty much have everything in. This has to get a little lighter. I'm going to make that a little bit lighter. I think what I'm going to do is go into this color that I just used, add a little bit more of the red oxide and some of my glazing liquid. I want this to still be a little lighter through here, so I'm just gonna like lightly go through here with this. Come around. Now this has to be darker up in there, so I'll have to go over that again. And sorry, I did my warm-up, but I guess my voice is still not warm enough. Unfortunately, I have that problem. I'll take a little drink. Nothing worse than hearing somebody's voice being so cloudy. And then in through here, it's a little bit lighter also, so I'm going to make that a little lighter. Comes down, and I'm just going to kind of keep going with this and make it kind of more light for her too. So I'm going to keep adding more paint, and these are just little light piece, you know, you're just working very lightly, glazing it, because you really don't want a lot on her. And this here too, I'm going to start to work on this also. Her nose, I'm going to kind of get that a little bit lighter also. Kind of come in here a little bit. Up and through here. And I still have a lot of paint on my brush, so that's a good thing too. Just kind of want to make it highlights, but that she has like some skin tone anyway. These all blend real nice together. I'm going to just pick up some of my red oxide and go back in here just a little bit. Okay. And go back into my mixture of the white and the red oxide. Oops, darn. Red oxide. I'm going to mix some of my glazing liquid again with that red oxide mixture. Just kind of lightly, just going light strokes. Just blending it in. Blending it in. I'm going to grab some more of my glazing liquid, because you really need a lot of that through here. You can see I'm not placing a lot of pressure with my brush. Not a lot of pressure. And as it begins to dry, you're noticing that it is actually starting to blend better with this. A little bit deeper red oxide here. Deeper here. We're still trying to get a nice tone around here. Goes up into here just a little bit. What I want to do is get my large brush and start to blend this a little bit. Because with the little brush that I'm using, it's kind of like leaving these little lines, and we don't want that, so just put that in there and then blend it out. Blend it a little bit. Just rubbing the brush in. Coming down here. Like that. Okay. Now right here, I think I need that a little bit bluer. I'm gonna grab some blue. To thin her nose a little. Okay. And I'm seeing, as I'm looking at this, I'm seeing more light in through here. Just gonna put that in there like that. But now I've got to get lighter in her nose area. So I'll grab some of the light one here. Right here, there's some light, and then it comes up. That. It's almost like a little, there we go. And definitely, this is very light also. It's just a highlight, okay? And then of course we have this highlight in the middle, which I keep taking out. Goes down through here. Just a little light there. I'm just adding these little touches as I'm going because you just want to keep it bright like it's supposed to be. I'm going to add a little bit more white to my oxide. Let's see if I can get this lighter here. It's a highlight. You want it to be light. There we go. Highlight there. Highlight here. See here. Goes down to a highlight in here. Pretty wide, this highlight here. It's pretty wide. So let's see if we can get that a little wider. Just kind of scruffing it on there, scrubbing it on there. So I have my little guide here. What I'm going to do is go into my blue, but I'm going to put some glazing liquid in that. And we're going to put a few around her. Now, I'm not sure, this might not be, we'll see how this works. Oh yeah, that's good. Then I also got a pouncer, the little foam pouncer. I'm going to go into that and make a couple smaller ones. Just some small ones in through here. Okay, and there's some up in her hair. Oops, a little too much there. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay. Let's see if I can get that better. Picked up too much paint there. Alright, well, let's see what happens. Put one here, okay. I need a little water. Gives a little bit of glazing liquid on here. There we go. Twisting. Okay, a little twist. Okay, let me check that picture again. Okay. Let me put some in here again. Just kind of like that effect, you know. I love that effect. Even if it's half of an effect, it's still cool. Just kind of connecting some of these. All right. Now, time to connect things. Let me put a couple more of these in here. Since I have the stencil, might as well stick a couple more in. Make it look kind of unique. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Maybe I could fix that one up. There we go. Fix that up. Okay. Let's see here. Maybe one right here. Kind of went out of the space. Let me wipe that off. A little too much bokeh there. Maybe this way. There. Ooh, some underneath that, and that's causing the... So you want to be careful of your stencils if you just wipe them off each and every time, so it doesn't mess up your painting. Okay. All right. Got to blend down a little bit. Okay, let's just get more of this blended. So I got that blue on there, so it just kind of like give it a little bit more. I still would like to fix that a little bit more. I'm going to use my filbert. Grab some the blue. Kind of just bring some down in through here. Just kind of giving it a little bit more that we need here. Filberts are good for blending, making things look a little bit better. I probably should have used that in the beginning. There. Okay, now. All right, let's get those lights in. Let's see if I can find a nice little brush. I'm going to need a very thin, maybe this would be a good one here. This is a #1 script liner. Now we're going to make these light pieces, just connect some of the lights that we have. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go into my red oxide, and I am going to, actually there's a couple more of those little things up in here. I'm going to probably put those in also, as I noticed that. I'm just going to use my little dauber, my sponge dauber. Put a couple in through here. It should be lighter, but I think the fact that should a couple in through here. Okay. Just checking my photo here just to see how many. We'll put one right here too. Okay. All right, dauber. Now, I am going to, when I do this, I add a lot of water, and I make like an ink-like consistency. So we're going to get that oxide color, wet it up a little bit. Just with a spray bottle, I wet it. And then I twist my brush into that, and I get a really nice point. If you can see that, I don't know. Ooh, like, see? Now, I'm going to connect some of these. It's going to be a little crazy here. We have one coming down this way. See, I'm just doing it very lightly. Very, very lightly. Let's get some more on there. Let's connect some of these here. Okay. Let's just kind of come up. Okay. There's some that come down here. Oh, let's get some more on here. A little bit more. And I hold my brush back, at the back part of my brush, only because I don't want to draw this. I want to have it like free flowing. So I am going to go like this. Oops. Connect those. Okay, let's see here. I got those connected. Let's get these connected. Okay. And let's get some of these up here connected. That's just showing that we have some lights. Okay. I'm going to grab a little bit of my blue with, I'm not rinsing out my brush, I'm just going to spray it and grab some of my blue on that also. Doing the same thing, just twisting it in that paint that's been sprayed. And we'll put some up in here also. Okay, pretty cool, huh? Pretty darn cool. Okay, and I think we have it, and I think we're finished with this painting. It was really fun to do. I enjoyed this, and I'm just going to sign it now, and I usually sign it with one of these, I get these Maltos, and I'll just sign it. Maybe I'll put it right here, and I only use my initials, so I don't put Pittsburgh Artist or anything like that. It's just MD, and I think it's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed this painting. I enjoyed doing it for you, and I truly hope you come back and visit me sometime over here on the station, on this channel. It's been a lot of fun, and hope these other collaborations along with me are just as much fun as I had. So, talk to you soon. Hi everybody, I wanted to come on here, and after everything has been filmed, I wanted to show you a few things that I did on this painting after the actual filming. The reason I didn't include all these different steps is because that video was so long, and I wanted to be sure that you wouldn't get bored. So I wanted to show you what I added. What I did is I kind of went over, well, I added some more of the little sprinkly things on here. I did that. I highlighted this a little bit more, and I added some of these splashes onto this as well. I narrowed her where her eyebrows to the eye was because it was too far away. Also, I did some work here on this eye because it just didn't look right to me. I worked on the nose a little bit too. I still think I need to work on this some more. I have a little bit of an issue with this side here. I added a little bit more lighter color in through here because on the portrait that I used, it was lighter in through here, and this here is a little gnome, a garden gnome. And if you have watched Stranger Things, the first, I think, episode, it showed garden gnomes being taken. I did I added a few more of the bokehs, and I kind of toned down some of them also because they were just too bright for this painting, and it just it didn't. Instead of focusing on her, you were seeing the light. So I wanted to make sure that we were focusing on 11. So that's her name, 11. In case you were wondering, it is a her. I do mention in the video that it's a he there for a little bit, but it is a her. It's 11L. They call her for short. And I hope you watch the program. It's a really good program. It's on Netflix. It's interesting. Also, I believe it's being renewed for another season, so I'm looking forward to that as well. And I hope you enjoyed this collaboration with the other artists on YouTube. And I thank you for the time, and please subscribe, like, send me comments. If you have any questions regarding the painting, by all means, do send the information. I don't have a traceable for this, unfortunately. Because most of this is kind of just done. I did kind of trace it, and I can give you something, but it's so advanced that I think somebody that really knows portrait work could do this. But I will put something on my website and on Pinterest just for you to refer to. So until next time, thanks, and enjoy watching Stranger Things. Bye.